Hello and welcome back to NLC7. There's a lot to go through right now, so I'm just gonna take it step by step and see if we can catch up with the story here. So last time we met with Leonid, and he told us to go to Dark Valley and look for these harmonizer blocks to adjust the brain structure so that we could make it non-lethal and non-affecting to humans. We've got a bunch of new notes, so let's see what we've got. Up in the Tesla lab. I managed to break through to the control point on the radar. What was I thinking? Of course I anticipated difficulties, but if I had known in advance what I would encounter on the way, I would have never gotten involved in this adventure. The time was pressing and I kept thinking, just a bit more, a few more meters, just around that turn, and if it doesn't work out, then I'll turn back. And of course I miscalculated. Already on the territory of the antennas, I clearly realized that I wouldn't be able to return back in time. Soon the radiation would begin to increase again, and there was nothing left to do but to descend into this bunker and look for an exit on the hunch. Inside the bunker, it was no better than on the surface, but there was nowhere to run and no way to retreat. The bunker didn't impress me. I expected some consoles, monitors, installations, red buttons and the like, which could control such a complex, but saw devastation and neglect. It seemed as though everything had been evacuated in a hurry, and what wasn't taken was looted. Found some working installations anyways, moved some switches from one position to another. Something turned on or off, I don't know. Had no time to think, had to get out, or I would have been stuck like that unfortunate nerd, from whom I luckily found the exit code. And how did he even get there? I must definitely ask Sakharov about him. At the exit, a surprise awaited me. Whether due to the extreme tension of the journey or the terrible fatigue, I fell into sleep. How long I lay there, I don't know. Judging by the clock, it's been about 2 weeks, but they could have malfunctioned. What strange coincidences. What's not a laboratory and some kind of collapse? But the main thing, I survived and got out. Here it is, a miracle. Tell someone, they won't believe. Though, better not to tell. They'll say, you're a fool for going, and it's all lies. I can hardly believe myself that I did it. Now, Ivar. Turns out my heroic journey to the laboratories under the radar was in vain. Whatever I turned on or off there, it all doesn't matter. Although the radiation was indeed turned off, it was not by me and not where I was. It was done by Ivar. The very Ivar about whom I heard something from different people. How he did it, and whether he did it himself or directed someone, he's not in a state to clearly tell yet. The radiation affected his health, and all that's left is to hope for the strength of his body, for a miracle, or for the doctor. Ivar turned out to be some kind of medic, or even a scientist, and he was dealing with psyches, as Barkeep said. But most importantly, he knew S.T.A.L.K.E.R himself. Isn't he the scientist Fang briefly mentioned? And aren't his notes on the flash drive? It turns out that Ivar is now my only real chance to find S.T.A.L.K.E.R, somehow get on his trail. But will he recover enough to be able to tell something clearly and distinctly? But he's already told as much as he could, that he passed some of S.T.A.L.K.E.R's records to the doctor, and this perhaps is the most valuable information in recent days, and my prize for all the troubles in various laboratories. I must read these records. And those records are what I just, shit. I think I just got them? Yeah, I just got them from Leonid. The monolith. Does the monolith really exist, or is it a myth? A fabricated deity. In any case, those called monolith followers believe it, worship it, speak of it with some reverence. But who are they themselves? Oh, I read this before. I'm not gonna waste my time. NLC18 docs. Read those. Information about Lebedev. We found him. And here he is. Here's his records. In the beginning was the call. All heard, but few understood. He waited, he knew, the call was heard, and those who do not falter, who are open, will come, and he will grant them the word. And the first came, but they were few, but the first who came were blind. They walked, driven by their passions. They longed for glory and wealth, power and new passions. He knew there would be no others immediately, but he tested all to choose the chosen ones. Only the chosen could accept him, and he will give them the power of thought. His word and thought were beautiful, and were merciless. They gave warmth and killed with cold. They provided food and shelter. But not all who accepted his thought heeded. He knew this too, and those who did not accept his thought received what they came for, but remained near him, dwelling in ignorance. And to those who accepted his word and thought, he gave power, and gave them the ability to reach out to him, just as he could communicate with them. But the power of thought gave them not just communication. Thought gave them all they asked for, and becoming stronger in spirit, they weakened in body. Such is the price of his revelation. But parting with the body, they merged with the unified consciousness. Only he who is one with his thought and consciousness can be free. And those who feared to part with the body and merge with the consciousness, he immersed in a world of illusions, but kept near him, for what they longed for was inaccessible to them. But he knew that they would be happy, dwelling in illusion. He forgave their weaknesses and left them by his side, to call others, those who strive to know the power of his thought. And the stream of those who yearned for his word and thought and power did not dry up. They came to him, and he knew. Time will come, and everything in this world will become a unified consciousness, and it will become everything. He knows everything, and all that exists is open to his mind, and he is ready to share what he knows and what he can. And the more those who heard him come to him, the greater becomes his power. For like insignificant grains of sands in the desert brought to a cliff are able to create a hill, so does a drop of the rational in a mortal shell, when merging with him, strengthens him. But he is not alone. There is also one similar to him, in essence, though not as powerful as he. There is his younger brother, but he is separated from him and sleeps. Sleeps until the moment when his essence reaches out to the place where his younger brother sleeps. Awakening the brother is one of his goals, for he is lonely in our world. And only shining together with the brother will he attain to true power and might. And his call will sound even stronger and will be as pure as the facets of a diamond and as sonorous as steel, cutting through the wind. In addressing those who heard and came to him, he prepares those who will help awaken his brother, for only by shining together can they achieve true might. And while they are separated, the wind of his power cannot awaken the brother, but those who came from disbelief will wake, and there will be one who will help him, and he will be marked with his seal. But who he is, unknown, for he has rewarded many with his seal, but confined in a weak fleshly shell, they are susceptible to weaknesses, inherent to earthly beings. But he waits, time is nothing to him, and only sorrow for the sleeping brother clouds his bright mind and does not allow it to shine in full force. I don't know who the younger brother is here. We're clearly the one that's supposed to help awaken him, though, and I wonder if that's what planting the seeds is all about. Yeah. What I'm thinking. See what the last one says. Instructions. The light of his mind is a candle in the darkness of bodily passions, to which the essence of people is susceptible. From afar it shines for the traveler, like a guiding star in the sea. And the closer the mortal body, having heard him, the stronger the light of the mind dispels the darkness of disbelief. But too strong is the opposition of the dark world into which the light of the mind has come by the will of fate. Too far from it are all the suffering and waiting. To help those who come to him, he sends the divine wind. But all that exists, mired in disbelief, resists. And distances stand in the way of the divine wind. but he is wise and full of compassion. And in compassion he gives part of his body, through which the divine wind passes, knowing no barriers of distance. And this is one of the reasons why parts of those who heard the call he leaves in a mortal body. Their mission is to carry parts of his body so the divine wind can reach those who are still weak in spirit and who need his help. It's like a virus. Oh shit. A lot of comprehensible formulas, calculations, diagrams, tables. It seems to be recordings of some measurements and analysis of these recordings. Numbers, numbers, numbers. It's hard to make sense of anything. There is a draft of a letter. The letter itself was most likely sent via email. To academician, I don't know that word, academician Alexandrov. Subject, indirect confirmation. Dear Alexander Nikolaevich, it seems that you, and I along with you, were right about the randomness of psi-field surges and their connection with the activity of anomalous processes and the emergence of neoplasms, artifacts. Yes, the intensity and the direction vector of the field have a significant impact, but as you rightly noted, the surges of the field do not have a cyclical nature. That is, no periodicity is observed. And now there is confirmation of this. I took various functions as a basis and noticed no correlation. That is, one can confidently talk about the randomness of the surges. There is nothing orderly in them. And this is quite enough to dismiss the known theory about the presence of some mind. I, like you, am now inclined to think that it is rather an uncontrollable natural phenomenon. I deliberately put natural in quotes because the nature of this phenomenon is exactly what is not understood. I meant that these are absolutely spontaneous random processes like the manifestation of natural forces. So, Professor Vasiliev, who proposed the plant hypothesis of the zone, might also be right in some way. At least now we have, albeit indirect, but very strong confirmation of the zone's mindlessness. To avoid being unsubstantiated, I will send or bring you my measurements and calculations on them. The measurements were taken at various points in the zone, including those where very few people have ever gone. After all, the whole problem was that we judged by measurements made on the outskirts, and never made them close to the center. Now, however, practically the entire area has been evenly covered, and some conclusions can already be made. You will ask, how did I get close to the center? This is the unpleasant part of my letter. The fact is that I had to contact an experienced stalker. Professor Vasiliev introduced me to him, who agreed to be my guide. But for a very original fee. He needed that experienced sample of the new psi-field meter that you obtained for us with such difficulty. Why he needed it, I have no idea, but he said that it would only be temporary and he would definitely return it. By the way, he very closely watched how I took measurements with the device, and also asked me what exactly and how I measured. A very curious young man. I am not inclined to think that he deceived me, but anything can happen in the stalker environment, and even such an experienced guide can suddenly disappear. And the most unpleasant thing is that I took the device without Professor Sakharov's permission and told him nothing. After all, he is the materially responsible person, and I stole material assets. But look at the results we achieved. I feel very awkward before you and before Professor Sakharov. Therefore, I am flying to you and hope that we will discuss everything in more detail there. And I hope you will get me another experimental sample of the device in case it is not returned to me, and then I will explain everything to Professor Sakharov. I think we will discuss everything when we meet. P.S. Since I mentioned Professor Vasiliev here, I remembered one strange incident. My colleague, 2 or 3 weeks ago, was at the Army warehouses. It's a place here. I don't remember for what task, and that's not the main thing. So he assured me that he saw Professor Vasiliev there, though in a very strange guise. His appearance greatly shocked my colleague. I assured him that it was a mistake, as at that very time I was exactly meeting with Vasiliev at Yantar, and he introduced me to that guide, with whom I then worked so diligently for a whole week. Just yesterday I told Vasiliev about this, and also shared an unpleasant story that happened to me on the way from Lumansk, exactly when I was going with that guide. I was glad that nothing happened to him and he reached Yantar safely. The professor assured me that he had never been in that area, but my colleague was sure that he exactly saw him. Very strange. I'll have to talk to him again when I return. And Vasiliev, by the way, was going somewhere with that stalker. I asked them not to tell Professor Sakharov about the device for now. I'll settle everything myself. Besides, it seemed to me that Vasiliev and Sakharov have somewhat strange relations. Dr. Perlman. We still haven't found Vasiliev. Strelick's notes. So, regarding the so-called monolith, or as now written in monographs, the monolith, what do you say? What's its role in all this? There are many hypotheses, but the most sensible one, given the circumstances, seems to be the following. The monolith absorbs hundreds of people's psi images, essentially feeding on them, replenishing its psi energy. These are all who were in that area at the moment of the monolith's emergence about 100 years ago, as well as those who somehow enter its field now. Though now unprecedented protective measures are taken, but holes into it are ever increasing. Are you familiar with the theory of teleportation? Well, briefly, let's not dwell on it. So, those absorbed by the monolith don't return. They become nobodies. They're gone. Hence, the zombified appear. Their psycho-images were absorbed by the monolith and emptied their soul too much. Absorbed? Emptied the soul? Isn't that too unscientific for hypotheses of such caliber? But we need to explain to the layman in familiar images what overlaying of the consciousness matrix means. Alright, let it be. But what is the monolith itself? Some concrete object? Sounds like it's a conversation. Hardly can it be counted among material objects. The monolith doesn't need our physical universe, any material things, bodies, or space. Whatever it is, it needs a psychic universe, or whatever you call it simpler, mental images, all on such a subtle level. Whether it feeds on this or lives in this field, still unclear. It remains a mystery even after so many years of study. And since the monolith is considered itself an immaterial object, only its some visible projection in a certain sarcophagus is material, not it itself as such. Essentially, it acts as an informational virus. Wait. Why did you decide it's a material? Why not just assume it's some meteorite? There were such hypotheses too. It's one of the main postulates, based on Professor Sokov's theory of worlds collision, and it's the most reasonable theory at the moment. The meteorite hypothesis was debunked a long time ago. Now it's commonly accepted that the monolith is the result of collision, contact of worlds, and similar terms, but nothing from that world, in our terms, the anti-world, can materialize here. Otherwise, annihilation is inevitable. But since it didn't happen, and we still exist, we can't talk about materiality, but we can explain the collision in terms of information, noosphere, if you will. Do you understand me? Hardly, but trying, let's step back for a moment. Yes, alright. So the monolith has a certain informational virus infects on the level of the mind. It changes the structure of not of the brain as a physical object, but of people's minds. Roughly speaking, it replaces part of the consciousness. It absorbs the existing and inserts its own into the freed space. A simple, understandable analogy, a computer virus. We'll take a short break. We've received a few calls. Is this like a radio show in the future or something like that? How is this expansion possible? After all, you yourself talked about the object's immateriality. Absolutely. But how do we explain its behavior from the point of view of our physical laws? Unknown what's there, in the monolith's other universe, but in ours, where it landed, the law of energy conservation and thermodynamic laws apply. Therefore, it simply must somehow survive in our world as if it were a living object. Grow, expand, capture new territories, new food sources. Otherwise, inevitable entropy and dying, at least in this world. Alright, let's say, but we spoke earlier about some impotence field. Yes, a bit more about that. Then it turns out this field of apathy, or better impotence as you say, is the result of the monolith's influence. The result of its life activity in this world. It attracts masses of people, infects them, that is, inserts parts of consciousness, replaces with virus, etc., and then releases. That is, it stops that very call we talked about. So the monolith expands its sphere of influence, grows, as it has neither hands nor legs nor body, but somehow must survive since it ended up in this world. You do understand this is just an abstract model. Yes, understood. With its influence, it makes more and more people strive into its sphere of influence. This is its food source, therefore it induces illusions, and somehow everyone wants to get closer to it, though they have no idea what's there, but everyone has one idea. It's good there, whatever it is. But that's not enough for it. The monolith throws traps, baits, so-called artifacts for which people, not yet influenced by the call, may strive towards it. And the number of these toys, the typological diversity, is already beyond analysis. It throws the illusion of some endless free happiness somewhere next to it. and then immerses people in apathy, and, having fed, releases people beyond the perimeter with already substituted consciousness. That is, it changes the polarity of the field from "come to me, here's happiness for free," to "leave here, here's only disappointment." I'm afraid not everyone can digest this. It's like with the theory of relativity. Some understandable at a glance, but when you delve into details... Of course, the full theory is much more complex, but I'm explaining to you in simple terms. Otherwise, we'll get into such thickets that we won't have any time for conversation. The format is limited anyway. Let's talk a bit more about the shard, and we must soon finish. As I've said, a shard isn't a material cobblestone, not a special artifact. It's something mental. It's that very virus which carriers are supposed to take beyond the limited territory and allow the monolith to grow. But how do they understand they have a shard? After all, everyone who had it speaks of it as a material thing. No, everyone who had it as an illusion. They, roughly speaking, went mad, having such a mental image, a replica of a monolith. And then when they leave its sphere of influence, all this madness in people in any degree doesn't disappear. It's passed down and grows exponentially. That's what we're observing everywhere now. People are dumbing down right before our eyes, everywhere. There you have it, how the monolith, not a living or material object in our world, nevertheless captures this world. This is the true expansion of the zone we began our conversation with. It's not territorial capture at all. Do you think it's already impossible for us to stop this? This, how to say, capture of minds? It's hard to say. The progression speed of mental disorders we're observing doesn't inspire any optimism. Essentially, humanity as a species is degenerating. And the culprit of it all, as now most scientists believe, is that very initial virus that infiltrated about 100 years ago. This is a pivotal point in human history. Well, those notes were definitely worth finding. That explains so many of the things that we've been dancing around in conversations with various people. Yeah, that's awesome. Very awesome. Man, there's so many of these to read. But, I'm not gonna read them right now. I think that's everything. But what I need to do is load back. And we're going to redo that run to the labyrinth because I'm not going to go straight to the Dark Valley lab. We have to go to Rostock first. I hope I already have my gear set up. That, or this right now. Just need to be able to run normally. And I need a crystal soul because I remembered that Red asked us to retrieve it from his stash for him. And we could keep the rest of it. So now we have it. I'm going to keep these with me. I'm not going into the lab. Just what it is. going to be a lot faster. It's going to be so much faster. Look at that. Already halfway there. A compass with me? Good. Oh, cool. I can give him I can get a capsule if I give him a single slot or a 3 slots. Interesting. Oh, there's S.T.A.L.K.E.R's notes. We get them from Doctor. I'll have to figure out what we get from what's his name? From Leonid. Welcome. Good to see you. So you're still sitting here? Yes. Have you been to the district center yet? Been there. Horrible place. Can't understand how the nerds can stay there. Find anything there? Didn't see any bubbles you mentioned, but I found your stash. Barely made it. It's tough there. Legs feel like jelly and I'm starving. Strange town. So yeah, did you bring the artifact, or... Here, Redhead, your artifact. Get well soon. Thanks, Mark 1. With this artifact, I'll be on my feet soon. And the doctor with his remedies will help too. Do drop by in a few days. If I'm feeling better, I'll give you this artifact as a reward. Well, thanks, Redhead. Won't forget it.
Да.
Hi,
У
how's
вас
your
ведь
health?
как грустно все
Better, but not
выходит.
fully recovered yet.
Эх, кусок бы мяса.
I forgot that he told us about the bubble in the middle. But yeah, I really don't know how I could possibly get there. Maybe with a ton of stamina artifacts. It's so funny how much easier this makes it. Alright, let's talk to Leonid again. I read all this conversation at the end of the last video, so you can go to that if you missed it. I gave him those documents, which was awesome. It kind of felt like it kind of went backwards from what we were talking about. So we're talking about protecting against this. We're going to need a helmet. Talking about the rainbow emitter as if it's on, but it's off. Got these. And we gotta bring it to the bar. I'm not sure which teleport to take, so we're gonna save first. This doesn't seem like the right one. This seems like Red Forest. Yeah. Should I go to Red Forest? Kill a bunch of dudes? And then go to Wild Territory? Why not? I have everything I need. I don't think I brought an artifact container though, so I hope I don't find any capsules. That is. Well, that's good. Funny. Where's all the other meat? I can't believe how easy it was to get out of here. Kill you. Either doesn't have line of sight or he's too far away. How are you, buddy? They can see me. I don't think they can hit me. No controller kill today. Thought it might have been an artifact. Alright, well. Quick way to raw stock. Gotta remember to pick up my PDAs. So, feeling any better? So. I got the notes from the doctor. I can't understand them. Can all this be true? About the monolith? About the psychos? Yes. At first I took it for fantasy, but I compared. It seems very similar. Need to activate again. Then it will be clear. Something. I've already figured that much. Alright, I'll activate it, but what then? To approach that monolith? Why would I? And how, if even S.T.A.L.K.E.R couldn't? Ghost. Probably he knows. Roughly, at least. S.T.A.L.K.E.R couldn't have anyway. This ghost, a real mystery. Doc said he'd wait in the cave. I took the bait, but he just looked at me sleepily and vanished. Can't understand him. It's like the doctor says Ghost has a message for me. So why the delay? What does he want? He could just come over. We'd talk. Yes, he's strange. S.T.A.L.K.E.R didn't really trust Ghost. He didn't tell him about the mark. So he did catch the black mark after all? No, not that. It's not important for now. He's gone anyway. Ugh. What, feeling the pinch again? Bit. The main thing is to turn it on now. You got that, right? No, I didn't get anything. There, someone speaks as if the zone is 100 years old. A typo, maybe. Yes, that's right. I thought S.T.A.L.K.E.R was some kind of scientist, but I have a suspicion that he... Ugh. What are you mumbling again? If it's hard to talk, then rest for a bit. We'll discuss later when you're better. Just don't go anywhere from the bar. Yes, later. Well, I'll deal with that lab in the valley for now. We'll see how it goes and then decide what to do next. He's a time traveler. He's from the future. I love how many kind of like canonical science fiction stories Smart like jams together. It is incredibly well done. It's one of the greatest. Oh, that other guy has the PDAs. We'll see him later. Ah, so much money. That's everything I need. Hey, docent, I've stumbled upon some schematics. Can you make anything out of them? What kind of schematics? Where are they from? And why do you need them? Seems like these documents are from some underground laboratory. They might contain the power schematics of the brain scorcher. It needs to be turned on, otherwise everyone will die. And if we don't turn it on, only some will die? Alright, I don't really care. It's a complicated diagram. It'll take some time. Here's the deal. I'll take a quick look at it while you're here. I'll see if it's even worth the trouble. Look. So, well, this is clear. And this too. So what did you find out about the brain scorcher power supply? Honestly, not much. It lacks a general descriptive part. There are wiring diagrams, switching systems, protection, and so on. But how and what these schematics relate to is absolutely unclear. So what do we do now? Do I know? Where did you say you found these schematics? Found them in a cave? It's not important. The main thing is they're from an underground laboratory. Seems like it was inhabited by scientists, probably. So they live there, huh? Maybe it's described in another section. I've only skimmed through a few sections and looked into the diagrams, and it's a real mess in there. Let me dig around a bit more. Maybe I'll manage to fish something out. Why didn't you say so right away? Are you trying to jack up the price or something? Uh-huh. This is not it. Maybe this. Well, what are you waiting for? Found anything else? Uh-huh. Something. Well, why do I have to pull everything out of you? You're rushing. What's the hurry? I found some entries from one of the employees in personal correspondence. It seems like something interesting is shaping up. So, why are you dragging this out? Well, how about an artifact? A good one. Second level, eh? Listen, docent, it's just about looking over some papers and telling clearly if there's anything worthwhile in them. Wouldn't it be too much to ask for a second level artifact for that? You should understand, any work should be rewarded. Otherwise, who would bother? Alright, no more poetry. Just for you, I'll make an exception. So according to the records, this laboratory has a backup geothermal generator. Though it might be in a shutdown state now. If so, it'll need to be switched to operating mode, opening the coolant circulation. When this generator is working, then you can switch power lines to other facilities. According to the records, this is done at the generator control point. It's not exactly clear where this point is located, but it's mentioned that the access code there is 39258. I don't get it. So what? There's this generator, but what does it give us? That's the thing. Power will be supplied to the general power line. All that's left is to switch the scorcher itself to it. Only where and how, I don't know. It's not mentioned here. Probably somewhere where the scorcher itself is controlled. Alright, at least that's something. Definitely good that we talked to him first. We're probably going to need that code in the Dark Valley Lab. Now we're gonna go deal with our PDAs. Cool. Oh, I didn't bring the other ones with me. Oh well. 2 weeks off healing up on the mainland, and I can't recognize the base anymore. What's with the arena? It's gone for good. Rather, the general ordered it. Enough with the betting pools here, he said. I've already done this. Yeah.
Да что за нахрен?
Oldie. I wonder if Petrenko is here. I wish I could trade him the Ruby Pelican. Okay, now we're gonna suit up for the lab. And I could go in heavy because I could use my artifacts for weight. I have any mods with me. So I can't trade the Sultan. I really want to get those absolutes. Though, I'll probably be able to finish the game just fine at this point. I feel like I'm rapidly progressing after being kind of like on a plateau for a bit where I was grinding. And I have a lot of artifacts. Some of which I haven't figured out what I need for a couple of uniques.
глазоньки, и кто это к нам пожаловал?
I'm mostly set up. Just one or two things I'll have to change. He's got mama's bees up there. Hey, okie dokie. Ooh, rubies. It's pretty cool. Oh. Forgot that I have a pendulum. Sure, why not? Shit. That was a mistake. Well, you know what we'll do? I'll just spawn one in and then install it when we get there. There's no prompt for me to take it out. I'm wasting all the time right now. Oh, I know. I'll sleep. Shit. Yeah, we'll just put it in. Ended up not taking the container. Probably foolish. We'll see. Try and give that coal box another look. I do think it got wiped. 90 emission. Shit, even with the eye on running out of stamina. I should have brought moonlight. Get a flash. See how I do with less weight. I still need to go talk to Sakharov about the scanner that I planted. I have to remember to do that and get the capsule. I don't think that's helping much.
Погоди.
zoning out and paid the fucking price. Excuse me. Alright. Back on some sort of track. Whoosh. I'm gonna get slammed. No? Okay. That was beyond me. I hate that little run. Just go the normal way. Stop rushing. So impatient. Okay. Why these boars seem so... Like crackhead boars. But I just saw pseudo dog eyes. It's not. It did. We're almost in. There we go. It is lab time. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video.